Welcome, everybody. My name is Neil Matson, and I'm the Executive Director of Montavilla Jazz, and I'm super excited to be here tonight live from Blank Slate Bar in Montavilla to welcome you all to our little party, our soirée. And we're here tonight to have some fun, to listen back to some amazing performances, some great, exciting moments from a few festivals past. We've got artist interviews, and we've got amazing prizes for you, and we're super stoked to be here. This is going to be a fun night, and we can't really get started until we get that drink made. So I'm going to introduce to you our host tonight, Kier Van de Veer, who is the owner and proprietor of Blank Slate Bar, and she's going to get us started by helping us make that Winter's Cup cocktail.
Oh, thanks, Neil. So happy to be here. So today we're going to be making a cocktail called the Winter's Cup. I know some of you have this juice mix at home. We do sell these here at the new Blank Slate Bottle Shop. They are just a simple juice kit that you can make with any spirit of your choosing at home. Although we did just hear that Cocktails to Go just got passed, so we're really excited. All right, so this particular one has blood orange, lemon juice, a bergamot tea, simple. It has bergamot, some cassis, and allspice dram. All right, so let's get started. We're gonna do 2 ounces of this juice mix. I'm gonna go ahead and do Buffalo Trace tonight, so 1.5 ounces of that. All right, some ice in your shaker all the way to the top. All right, and then I like to add the soda to the shaker. This helps to incorporate it as you strain it into your glass. Fill that with ice. All right. And then it says to garnish with a little winter herb. I'm going to use some rosemary because I still have that growing in our yard. I like to give it a little smack, which kind of releases some of those nice fragrant oils. And that's it. It's easy as that. Well, cheers, you guys. Enjoy.
That is so awesome. Look at that. Amazing. I'm going to raise the glass and the toast in a moment, but I thought I should mention some of our supporters and sponsors for this evening. Of course, we have Blank Slate providing some door prizes. You'll hear about that later. We're going to announce winners for folks. If you're here in the chat, we'll announce those winners later. We have Left Door Streaming providing the video and audio for tonight. We'd like to thank Raffle Events for coordinating our fundraisers. We'd like to thank the donors, East Gleason Pizza Lounge and Vino Veritas. And of course, our audio at our festival every year in the past has been recorded by Sound Dr. PDX, so you're going to get a chance to hear some of those recordings, which is going to be a lot of fun. So thank you to Sound Dr. PDX for that service as well. And of course, I'm going to thank off the top our artists who have participated in this event, agreed to participate. We have Daryl Grant. I would like to thank George Colligan, Daryl, and Ezra Weiss for being our artists tonight, and we are going to hear from them in a little bit. And then while we're enjoying music this evening, we are going to see some visuals that will accompany the music. We're going to see photography of Catherine L. Sesser and Aaron Heyman, our board member and founder, and in addition, Diane Russell, a local portrait artist and photographer. We have some things to get done tonight. We've got some business to tend to, and we want to get to our party and start listening to some music. But we're here to talk to you about what this organization does, what we aim to contribute to our community and our city. And we want to tell you about how you can help. The easiest way to help right now is for you to hit that share button. That's an easy one, so why don't we do that? The next thing that we're going to tell you is raffle tickets are still on sale, and they will be all the way until 8 p.m. We'll let you know along the way when those are going to be, we're going to stop selling raffle tickets, but they're still for sale now. And we've got some really cool prizes we're giving away. And then lastly, we're going to ask if you are in a position to do so, to please make a contribution to Montavilla Jazz. We're a nonprofit 501c3 organization. We rely on contributions from supporters to do the programs that we do, and we appreciate your help. I'm going to raise my glass in toast. I'd like you to join me. I have a very short little toast that I thought you might appreciate. And if you're ready, may we share in the joyful celebration of jazz, the art form we all love, in order to build a more compassionate, diverse, and deeply connected community. Cheers. Cheers. Wow, this is pretty good. So we've got that underway. Cheers all, and thank you for being here. I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague and founder of Montavilla Jazz, along with, we are half of the founders represented tonight. He's here at Blank Slate with me. His name is Ryan Marr. Ryan is the programming director of Montavilla Jazz Festival. Ryan is behind the curation of the sound and the artistic lineup of the festival. And I'm going to introduce Ryan. He's right here.
Thanks, Neil. Yeah, thanks for the introduction there. As Neil mentioned, I'm the programming director. A lot of people that know me know that I'm really into baseball, and this just popped up in my head right now. Like, we are a team, and I think my role on this team is kind of like the scrappy, slap-hitting second baseman. I'm kind of like the get up and get it done kind of guy, and yeah, that's kind of, I think, one thing that I do behind the scenes here. But I'm also kind of a leader in what the festival sounds like. It's not all falling on my shoulders, but I think I do a good job of herding the cats within the organization to get the sound of the festival, and that's one of the things that we are most proud of here at Montavilla Jazz. And I'm really excited to share with you these cuts, choice select cuts from festivals past that feature really amazing talent from right here in Portland. We're going to get started with the first ever Montavilla Jazz headliner. And our very first festival in 2014, I have that year right, Neil? 2014, we didn't have a headliner. That was our first year, and it was very egalitarian. Everyone had equal billing. And then the next year, because we were doing everything by the seat of our pants, we decided that maybe it would be a good idea to have a headliner. And what better headliner than our first headliner to be than Daryl Grant. So when we reached out to Daryl Grant, we were interested in what he was cooking up. And he came to us with this idea of a trio that he had been playing with Tyson Stubelic and Eric Gruber, and he was calling it All for Naught. And it was kind of reimagining and revitalizing tunes that were not necessarily jazz standards or from the American Songbook, but tunes with which people were familiar. And this cut that we're going to play from you from the 2015 festival with Daryl Grant's All for Naught is one of the most pervasive songs of the last 20 years, Pharrell Williams' Happy. And it is lively, and it's got everything that we love at the Montavilla Jazz Festival. It's got complexity, but it's also tuneful. And it has instrumental virtuosity, and it's a really fun thing, and it sounds really great. And thanks to Left Door Streaming for making that sound so good after the fact. And so here's Pharrell Williams' Happy, played by Daryl Grant's All for Naught from the 2015 Montavilla Jazz Festival.
Hey, Daryl, how's it going?
Hey, good, Neil. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Wow, it's amazing to think back and listen back to Montavilla Jazz Festival 2015 to the
Crazy.
headlining performance. So great to hear those recordings now. Can you talk about the project that you brought to
Sure.
the festival, All for Naught?
You know, it's funny. I don't know if you can see behind me, but the poster is on my wall here at my studio. That Montavilla, that's the one on the bottom, the
Oh,
nearest
nice.
to the
Yes, I see
door.
it.
Yeah,
That's so great.
so 5 years ago. Wow. Well, you know, it's funny. The project All for Naught started as an exploration of how I might play repertoire that seemed more relevant to my students at the time. And I was, you know, jazz has always been a music that dealt with a living repertoire. It wasn't, you know, always historic music. It was the music of the time, and it's more of a process of what jazz musicians do to the music of their era. So I picked a bunch of songs that I really liked from that period, and this was, you know, this was the early, I guess, mid 2000s. Whenever this tune, Pharrell Williams had Happy came out, and
Yeah.
just loved the song, and so sort of took that process to songs like that, and who else? Lord and Adele, and you know, Peter Gabriel, all these different this different kind of music, seeing what it would sound like. And so I worked with Eric Gruber and Tyson Stabelic for years, known them for years, and so they seem like a really good team to sort of bear with me in these explorations of tearing this music apart, putting in odd meters, taking in, you know, different alternate chord changes, and but ultimately trying to make it into something that really felt like now, like a moment in time. So that's what All for Naught was about.
Can you talk about like listening? We just listened to that track. Just like a moment from that experience of headlining for us, it was like we went from the first year thinking like, did we just do that to, okay, let's do this again. And
Mhm.
it was sort of our shooting the moon to get you to headline the festival. And you did it. So what was that like from your perspective?
Oh, it was fantastic. There's a reason I have the poster on my wall, like the top of the bill. I mean, I'm not, you know, that was a great experience, but it was really more for me. It was really amazing to see how you guys grew, that, you know, that you were really taking this idea of a festival that highlighted, you know, and featured local artists, like the Portland artists. It's a festival that sounded like us, and really moving it to the next level of presentation. So I was really honored and delighted to be there, because, you know, it felt like a festival, but it also felt like family. So it was really nice.
Can you tell us a little more about like where Montavilla Jazz Festival fits, or maybe where we can fit as we move forward, but where we fit in the arts community? What's important about having a festival that features emerging and established artists?
Well, I actually think a lot about this kind of idea, right? Because jazz is an international music, and you know, we have international superstars, and we have huge festivals, we have an industry, but what jazz essentially is musicians coming together, artists coming together to make music for community. I mean, jazz is clubs, and jazz is, you know, local schools, and jazz happens like on the ground in small places, and it can get lost if nobody's honoring that part of the tradition. And so what I was always excited about the Montavilla Jazz Festival is that they were really honoring what a lot of people might say is the real jazz, the jazz that happens like at the ground level, and that's the jazz that feeds the community. I think that Montavilla is sort of celebrating that essential community nature of jazz is really, really important. And I wholeheartedly support and hope others support and champion that idea, because it's really what will keep jazz surviving. As we can see, all scenes are now local, right? There is no
Right.
touring, there is no
Right.
international jazz market. Everybody's, if they're playing where they live.
Mhm.
And so having a thriving scene where you live becomes absolutely essential. So I'm really grateful that we have, you know, Montavilla Jazz organization, not just for the festival, but for the other 360 days of the year that you're not doing the festival, and all that you guys do for the community.
Well, we really appreciate getting the chance to talk to you about this and listen back to some of our favorite moments, and just having your support for the organization over these years. And we hope you can stick around and answer some questions in the chat as we continue our journey through some festival moments from the past. And Daryl, thank you so much for helping us and for participating in this event. And we hope that you have a really happy end of the year, happy holidays, and hope to see you in the chat.
All right. Thanks. You too, Neil.
Daryl Grant, ladies and gentlemen, what a great performance that was. We really did shoot the moon, Ryan, with Daryl on that year's festival, and I can't say it better than Daryl does when he talks about the impact of jazz in the community on a hyper local level, working in the schools, working with local artists, and the impact that makes on the jazz scene in a national and even in an international level, with all the folks who have gone on from the Portland scene to make an impact nationwide and beyond. So we just really are thrilled to have Daryl put it in his words, because he does the job for us. He makes our job easy. And that was just fun. That was just so fun. So I'm stoked. Maybe this is going to go a little faster, this cocktail. I need to pace myself. It's so tasty. But I wanted to take a moment to, we're going to announce a prize winner here in a moment. So hold on and stick with us. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about what Daryl's talking about when he's talking about the festival and more. Because we have a lot of things that we're working on right now. And I'm going to tell you about one thing, and then we can tell you about a little bit more too later. One thing is that we're excited to work in the schools, and we're excited to partner with Portland Public Schools to make opportunities, paid opportunities for jazz artists, local jazz artists, to share their talent and share their wisdom and their artistry with young people in our school district in Portland. And this is something that we hoped that we are going to do in 2021, and that this is how we use our resources, by putting artists in paid opportunities to kind of spread their talent and share that with kids. I'm going to tell you more about that and other programs, but we do have to announce a prize winner, because I know you all are waiting for that. This first prize is a door prize, and I believe the winner is, let me just check. The door prize, first of all, is a $20 gift certificate to Blank Slate. And you can get, you now, according to Kier, can get cocktails to go. Maybe that's going to start here very soon. But I'm sitting here in Blank Slate looking around, and if you have to do some holiday shopping and you need to get somebody something nice, I would come to Blank Slate. They've got mixers, they've got the hardware, the real fine mixologist type stuff, the tools you need to get it done at home when you're making your cocktails. They've got spirits, they've got wine, as you can see behind me. So that $20 gift certificate is going to go far. But even if you don't win, you should come in and do some holiday shopping here, because I do believe they're open tomorrow and Wednesday. So the winner of the first door prize is, and we know this person, Louise Hoff. She's a volunteer. So Louise, you are the winner. And if you're not here, or you were taking a trip to the kitchen to make your second cocktail, we will email you. So don't worry. But congratulations, Louise. And I need to tell you to keep buying those raffle tickets. We have 4 drawings. One is a $100 gift certificate to East Gleason Pizza. The drawing number 2 and 3 are separate, already picked out, hand-picked half cases from Vino Veritas of select wines. We sent out pictures of those in our email. And then the grand prize tonight that we'll announce later on is the Take Out Jazz. And if you don't know what that is, I'll tell you a little bit more later. But again, we do the things we do with support from you. And if you can contribute, that's great. We know that this is not an easy time. We do also know, though, if you do contribute, that because of the CARES Act, that there is more tax deductions. I'm also going to tell you more about that later tonight. There is a new rule that's temporary about how you can benefit from tax deductions on charitable giving. But we want to do some more music. We want to listen to another great moment in Montavilla Jazz Festival history. So I'm going to throw it back over to Ryan Marr, Programming Director, to introduce our next moment of festival past.
All right. Thanks, Neil. I have props for this segment. I want to raise my glass to all of you listeners and all of you artists out there sharing. This is a delicious drink. Thank you, Kier. Pro tip, Kier made mine with mezcal. So it's delicious. I suggest using mezcal. I'm not really a tequila guy, but it works. And my second prop here, this is the poster from the 2015 festival with the Daryl Grant Alfred. You can see him listed right there at the very top. This is one of the more fun things that we get to do with the festival every year, is to kind of see what Aaron Heyman, one of our co-founders, cooks up for the festival poster. And this was a great one. This is the poster for the year of the festival that we're about to listen to. And our headliner for this year in 2016 was George Colligan. He played with the Portland Jazz Composers Ensemble on Saturday evening this year in 2016, and that was a very incredible set. It was one long piece of music. It lasted over an hour. It was like an hour and 10 minutes, maybe more, all the way through. No breaks in between tunes. And the Portland Jazz Composers Ensemble, as I'm sure all of you know, is a very important partner with our organization. The piece that we're about to hear is from the George Colligan Trio, which happened on Sunday night. And it's not just any trio, let me tell you. You're going to love this. It's the longest cut, I believe, of the three that we're going to listen to tonight, but it is well worth its weight in gold, audio gold. Boris Kozlov is on bass, and Rudy Royston is on drums. And these are two of the most incredible musicians on their respective instruments in jazz anywhere. We flew them in from the New York City area, and this was truly a memorable night of music. That was selecting the music that was perfect for this event was very difficult, but this one was not a difficult choice by any means. So this is Waterfall Dreams, which is a composition by George. And we have Rudy Royston on drums, Boris Kozlov on bass, and this is from Sunday night of 2016.
Hey, George, how's it going?
It's going good. How about you?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So cool to listen back to that concert headlining performance from 2016, listening to you and Boris Kozloff and Rudy Royston. Tell us about the history of that trio.
Well, I can tell you about the history of my relationship with each of those musicians. With Rudy, we played together. I believe the first time we played together was a tour with Don Byron to Australia. The first and only time I've ever been to Australia. It was a trio. It was this project that Don had where he's doing the music of Lester Young, and so it was Don, myself, and Rudy, just a trio. And I've been hearing about Rudy Royston, and so we hadn't really played together before, and I just remember being like, wow, this guy's amazing. Where has he been? And he's just a pleasure to be around, and he's super mellow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always really enjoy playing with him. And he's on the recording that I did of that song.
Oh, cool.
Boris, I feel like the first time we played together was probably with the Mingus Band. And again, that's going back about 20 years.
Wow.
Boris is a very dear friend and just a great guy. He's kind of a brilliant guy. Incredible bass player, and also can draw on a lot of different things, play really straight ahead, play very free, which you kind of have to do to be in the Mingus Band. I mean, they played great together, and I was really happy that they could both do it. I'm hoping we'll be able to do it again at some point. I really miss doing that. But yeah, it was a really exciting night, and I'm happy they were able to make it.
Tell us about the piece Waterfall Dreams.
Like, some people like to sort of sit down and work out stuff, and I've certainly done that too, but sometimes I just think of it more as improvising, and so some of my melodies are just purely improvised. It's like basically the first thing that comes out, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. You know what I mean? It almost sounds like it isn't so much trying to come up with something completely new. It's almost like trying to remember something from a past life. I know that sounds hokey, but it's like sometimes you have those moments where you're like, it's almost like a deja vu. It's like, oh, this melody must have existed before, because how could it just come out like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's almost like a memory rather than a creation. So I feel and maybe it's like part of a dream. You know what I mean? Like maybe the whole thing is a dream, not to sound totally esoteric, but that's
very cool. I wanted to ask you what you feel with all your experience traveling the world and playing with some of the finest musicians around. What makes Montavilla Jazz Festival unique and special compared to some of those other festivals? Not to compare, but just what do you think is special about a small, intimate, community-based festival?
Well, I've said all along that I wholeheartedly support the Montavilla Festival, and not just because I'm basically around the corner. I mean, Mount Tabor, Montavilla, is kind of the same thing to me, but because of the commitment to the art and the commitment to local artists and doing it for the right musical reasons. Why I like you guys so much, because it's about the music. It's clearly about the music, and it's honest in that way. It's trying to bring that to the community.
Right,
so
right.
So that's the thing is the Montavilla Festival's doing it for the right reasons, and it's how I would do it. I would do it this way. So I totally support it.
Well, that's really great to hear you say it. And George, you're going to stick around and be able to answer some questions in the chat as we take our journey through a few more festival recordings from the past. And we just really appreciate you being here and chatting with us about what was really a special night in our in our history of the Montavilla Jazz Festival. So thanks so much, and
Well,
we'll
thank
see you in a minute in the chat.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
What a moment, or many series of moments from 2016 Montavilla Jazz Festival, the headlining performance by George Colligan with Rudy Royston and Boris Kozlov. Can remember being in the room that night, and many people reporting back that it was a pretty amazing experience being there. It was great to hear George's thoughts about his process and what's important to him as a nearby neighbor of the neighborhood of Montavilla, that he feels like doing it for the music, keeping that principle, the value of the music before maybe commercial concerns, is really what makes it meaningful for him as an artist, as a local artist. And that's one of our driving principles. And I thought I would mention that would be a great segue to tell you a little bit about some of our goals for 2021. And remind you that we're going to announce another door prize winner here momentarily. But just to give you some background about where we're going, or I guess some foreground about where we want to get to in 2021, and where, by supporting us tonight, you can help us get there. We have a number of projects that are in the works. We talked a little bit about our school programming, working with Portland Public Schools. We also have a fledgling jazz band at the middle school level at Mount Tabor Middle School, a program under the Montavilla Jazz nonprofit, and working with that school directly to put, again, paid opportunity for a local jazz musician who is also an educator to work with kids in a school that doesn't have a jazz band. Well, they do now, and getting it so that pathway from Montavilla for kids who end up going to Mount Tabor and then eventually go to Grant have the same opportunity to experience jazz band, to learn about the music, but not just the music and the notes, but the cultural significance, the roots in African American history and heritage, the values that are associated with jazz and learning jazz, the cognitive skills that kids learn from in learning how to improvise, and all of that, making those opportunities. So that's another program. But I have a couple other programs to tell you about. Maybe I'll pause. I'm going to do that prize winner. You can. I think we have stopped selling raffle tickets, but I might get an update about that in a second. But our door prize winner, number 2, which again is a blank slate $20 gift certificate, which you can come down and use tomorrow and Wednesday before they close down for the holiday. This door prize is going to Aaron McCullough. Door prize number 2. Congratulations, Aaron. I thought I would throw that in there because I know you're all waiting to hear about that. I'm going to get a word from our event coordinator, Amy, about whether or not we have shut down the raffle tickets sales, but we have seen a bunch of people purchasing those tickets, so we really appreciate that. I was about to mention one more thing in the works for us in 2021. Of course, we want to get back to healing as a community post-COVID, or as we work through the pandemic, and we aim to put on a festival in 2021. But next summer is going to feature another project from Montavilla Jazz that I think you'll be really interested to hear about. And we've mentioned it, hinted about it here and there from the last few months as we've been planning, but it is yet to have a name, but at present we're calling it the Montavilla Jazz Film Project. And what it involves is artists who were slated to perform at the 2020 Montavilla Jazz Festival, providing musical, this is a film project which involves music from festival artists that we record them in the near future in the first part of 2021, and then we pair them with local filmmakers who provide sort of a visual scoring to that music, is sort of flipping the process from sort of the traditional process of filmmaking on its flipping it upside down, I guess, so that we get to collaborate in this art making, and that the filmmakers and the jazz musicians are kind of collaborating in the way that they produce the art, and the end result will be something we hope beautiful, compelling, very, very artistic, and very meaningful. But most of all, we again will be making paid opportunities for, in this case, not just jazz musicians, but filmmakers and arts workers. So that's something we're really excited about. That's something that you can help make happen by contributing to Montavilla Jazz. You can go to montavillajazz.org/donate, or you can contribute at paypal.me/Montavilla Jazz. But we're not done tonight with our music that we're exploring, going back to the 2019 festival next. I hope I haven't forgotten to mention every little thing that I'm trying to get in there, but I think it's time for us to listen to another moment. This is really something that I can say something about, talking about Ezra Weiss and his big band performance, because I am a huge fan of large ensemble jazz. And if anyone who is watching was there on that Saturday night in August of 2019, it was a very emotional, very special performance. And one of the things that was so special was that the large ensemble is emblematic of what we are as a jazz community. It has, representatives from all the different instruments working together on a large format, and the composer, the arranger who leads that is someone to be admired and heralded in our community. So that's what Ezra Weiss means to me, and I'm really excited to listen to this next piece. So Ryan's going to introduce it, but I had to get my 2 cents in.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really excited about this too. As I mentioned before, it was really hard to figure out what it was that we were going to play tonight. And one of the things that we are absolutely most proud of at Montavilla Jazz is the diversity and the artistic aesthetic that we showcase, or like basically the broad spectrum of jazz that we show. And as Neil mentioned, this is a large ensemble thing. And we don't have large ensembles every year, but we have had a number of large ensembles, and we were really excited about having this one, and it did not disappoint. As Neil said, it was very magical and emotional. There were people crying after this performance. And so this is the Ezra Weiss Big Band, and it features a solo from trumpet virtuoso Charlie Porter. And this was from 2019, which was the year that Mel Brown headlined our festival. And a cool thing about the Charlie Porter and Mel Brown tie-in here is that both of those artists are going to be featured on a Jazz Night in America episode coming up soon. Jazz Night in America is a nationally syndicated radio show, and so this was a very successful year. And here is Fanfare for a Newborn from Ezra Weiss Big Band from 2019.
Hey, Ezra, how are you doing?
Good. How's it going, Neil?
Doing pretty well. Wow, so great to listen to Fanfare for a Newborn from the 2019 Montavilla Jazz Festival. That was such an amazing night. That's exciting. Tell me about the piece we just listened to. A little bit about where it comes from, what its journey was to get to the festival a couple of summers ago.
Well, it's called Fanfare for a Newborn. And I originally wrote it before my younger son was born. And it was actually originally commissioned, a smaller version of it was commissioned by the Portland Jazz Composers Ensemble. It's an unusual sort of composition. So there was a lot of playing around with getting the proportions just right, like kind of trying to get it to shape, to take the right shape over the years. And then it became part of this suite I wrote about being a parent in current times. And the suite is called We Limit Not the Truth of God. And so we got to perform that for the CD release of it at the Montavilla Jazz Festival. It was a really good performance. I remember feeling that way about it after the concert, that song, like, it really all comes together. And especially, you've got like the introduction of the horns before the groove kicks in, before the triangle comes in, playing kind of a chorale, which is actually the kind of the intro to the whole suite. I mean, it's kind of nerve-wracking conducting that, because there's no time, and I'm just and I wasn't using sheet music, so I was just kind of counting the measures in my head while I'm waving my arms there. And you feel that space because it's just this kind of wash of sound that is hard to recordings don't really capture, no matter what. That you just can't capture quite what it feels like hearing just all of those amazing musicians playing a beautiful chorale at once, and just their sounds coming out so fully, and hearing that live is just magical.
Agreed. I have just a question to ask, because we're talking about the festival tonight, and I want to hear from you, like, what role the Montavilla Jazz Festival plays in your work as a composer throughout the years, as a composer and an artist.
So the Montavilla Jazz Festival is my favorite festival. And I think it's for a number of reasons, but one is, like, I'd say the intimacy of it. The Montavilla Jazz Festival, you get kind of that intimate club feeling. It also gives you the opportunity as a musician to take risks. Doing the full suite like that, I mean, live, as you said, it's it touches on some pretty heavy stuff. There's a lot of festivals where they wouldn't even consider letting us. They might say, okay, you could do a song, but like you can't actually say that. And I appreciated that I could say take those risks and get to hear all of my fellow musicians also in their sets earlier. People that I know that I don't always get to hear, or I don't get to hear them in that setting where they get to take risks. And also, like, you're getting paid well, and the sound is good, and people treat you nicely. And like, that sounds like a small thing, but that's actually makes a really big difference.
I really like hearing you say that. And I really appreciate you doing this evening. And I know that this concert is available in a number of formats, and we're going to make sure that that's shared in a moment in our chat. And it was a beautiful night, and we really appreciate having the opportunity to have a chance to listen back and talk about that moment. Thank you so much, Ezra. And I hope you get a chance to hang around and answer some questions in the chat.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me, Neil.
welcome back. That was very enjoyable to hear that once again. I really have to thank Ezra Weiss. He actually mixed that that version or the recording we just listened to, and it's just such a special thing to be able to put. I think it was a 19-piece band, 18 or 19-piece band on the stage at Portland Metro Arts in 2019. And it is risky. It's risky business. We set out to do a festival. We start out with not very much money in the bank, and we try to put it together, and we get lots of contributions from local businesses and local sponsors in the community. We get support from all of you through your donations. We get support just from being here and participating in events like this, and we really appreciate it. But if you can, and if you've been thinking about ways that you could help us, now is a really great time to contribute to Montavilla Jazz so that we can continue to do the work that we do, that we can put on a festival in 2021, that we can screen a premiere of a very special film project, that we can continue to work in the schools, and we can continue all the ways that we want to create paid opportunities for musicians locally. And I just want to remind you that this is something that's different than every year. The CARES Act, I'm going to read a little bit here just so I get it right. The CARES Act, through the CARES Act, you can claim more of your charitable gifts on your taxes. If you take the standard deduction, this year you're allowed an additional donations up to $300 to a qualified charitable organization like Montavilla Jazz. If you itemize your deductions, the new temporary law for 2020 allows for cash contributions to be deducted up to 100% of your adjusted gross income. That's up from 60% previously. And Montavilla Jazz is a registered nonprofit 501c3, and we acknowledge your donations. We appreciate your help. We need your help, and we really we wouldn't be here without that help. So take a moment, head over to montavillajazz.org/donate, or you can head over to paypal.me/montavillajazz. Make a contribution. Any amount helps, and we really thank you. So that concludes my appeal to you. But the fun is, we're left with the fun part, right, Ryan? So I don't know, I think we're going to share the screen here for a moment to use the parlance of the time.
Yeah.
But not in the same way. We've got some raffle winners to announce. And I want to remind you of the prizes. Hopefully you know what we're giving away here. We have, from our sponsor, East Gleason Pizza Lounge, a $100 gift certificate. They do pizza. They do lasagna on Sundays. They do my very, very favorite, which is the Detroit-style pizza, because I'm from Detroit. And
they also do cocktails.
They do cocktails.
I mean, isn't Tina's favorite cocktail from
They have
East
a cocktail
Gleason?
named after Tina.
Yeah, that's
my
right.
partner.
Yeah.
And we know the winner of this thing, but I need to open up my phone and find out so I can read it to you. You know what, Ryan? I forgot something too. I should actually take a moment and
Go for it.
mention the photography tonight.
Oh man.
I didn't mention that, and I think I got Moses to put that in the chat.
Yeah.
During Ezra's performance, or recorded performance, the photographs were by Catherine Elsesser. Catherine is an amazing photographer who has helped us out year after year as a in-kind sponsor of the event, donating her time, and we thank her so much.
She was in the chat too.
She was in the chat. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm really in trouble. And in 2016, she took those amazing photographs of George and Rudy and Boris. And the photographs, I think I might have mentioned on the first segment with Daryl Grant. The photographs were by a combination of Diane Russell and Aaron Heyman. So thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Diane. You want to do the raffle?
Let's do it.
So the East Gleason Pizza $100 gift card goes to, let me see here. I'm reading it as John Savoy or Savoy E. I'm reading Amy's handwriting, so I hope I got that right. We've got your information in the system, so we're going to put that card in the mail to you. And that's our first raffle winner. So congratulations, John. Number 1. So the second prize and the third prize are half cases. They've already been selected. They're sitting over in Vino Veritas right now. Another one of our sponsors for tonight. So one of the half cases is hand selected by Manuel Maderle, and the other half case is selected by Trevor Gorham. Those are the 2 sommeliers from Vino Veritas. I bet the one that's more heavy on the Italian wines is from Manuel, and the one that is, just like, whatever it is from Trevor. No, yeah. I don't know. But we have 2 winners. So we have 2 people to give out winners of the wine. The first winner is, Alima McCrae.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So Alima, I know Alima. She does my taxes. So there you go. And we have also Jeannie. The second winner of the second case is Jeannie Barquette. So congratulations, Alima and Jeannie. Thank you so much for buying raffle tickets. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And those are some pretty sweet prizes. 6 bottles of wine. That'll make, my household probably get us through the end of the week. The last prize remains, and that's going to be Takeout Jazz. Do you want to explain Takeout Jazz?
Sure, yeah. I like Takeout Jazz. It's different than taking jazz out. Takeout Jazz is, the idea is that it's like a singing telegram, but it's a Portland jazz musician that comes to you and plays some jazz at your door. We did this in the summer, around the time of the festival, when the festival would have been. The Portland jazz musicians came to people's houses that bought tickets and played a few tunes for them, and then scuttled off to the next house, and it was really fun.
Super fun.
I was fortunate enough to be able to play with a couple of the artists, and it was fun. It was a gig, and you got to play jazz with the person, but it was safely distanced. It's really cool.
So the winner of the Takeout Jazz is none other than Sammy Kawaija.
Sammy.
That is great. We know Sammy. So again, I want to thank everybody who helped us out tonight. Thank all of you for being here. I want to acknowledge Left Door Streaming, Revel Events, Eastleys and Pizza Lounge, Kier from Blank Slate, our host tonight, Vino Veritas, Sound Doctor PDX for the recordings, and then of course Catherine L. Sesser Photography, Diane Russell, Aaron Heyman, our other photographers, and then of course the artists Daryl Grant, George Colligan, Ezra Weiss. Thank you so much for buying the raffle tickets, for spending the night with us. And I don't know, Ryan, do you have any send-offs?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Yeah, I know. We work together a lot all year round and put together this cool thing. And just thanks for helping us all make it happen. So,
cheers.
Cheers. It's the same cocktail, I swear.